Hello friends, in today's class we will learn when do we use present continuous tense. So if you have seen my earlier videos which I had made on usage of both simple present tense and present continuous tense, you would have understood that simple present tense is normally used when we are talking about facts which are true for the time being or which are universal truths, or when we talk about specific and definite future events. And how are the sentences constructed in simple present tense? We just have the subject and the verb. Subject plus verb and object. For example, Ram reads a book. So we are giving information that Ram is doing an action. He is doing some activity. What's the activity? He is reading a book. So this is the subject and the verb. There is no helping verb here, is, am, are. And with verb, we add s or es when the subject is third person singular. We use he, she, it, or someone's name. For example, here Ram. We could also say he reads a book. So this is construction of sentence in a simple present tense. But when we come to present continuous, we have to understand when we use it. First situation is when we are talking about an activity which is happening right now. Action happening at the time of speaking. Okay? When you're speaking about some action and that action is happening at that point of time and it is not yet complete, we use present continuous tense. And how do we construct the sentences? We use subject, then followed by helping verb is, am, are, and then verb, and with the verb we add ing, and then object. This is the way we construct sentences. For example, Ram is reading a book. So when you say Ram is reading a book, that means Ram is actually at that point of time reading a book. That means an activity is happening. What is the activity? Ram is reading a book. He is reading a book. And that activity is not yet over. It is happening while we are talking about it. So when you talk about something, you speak about something, about an event, or action, or activity. When that event is happening, or activity is taking place, or action is being done, we use the sentence in present continuous tense. We structure the sentence in present continuous tense. Okay? For example, right now, I am teaching. This action is happening right now. I am teaching. Okay? I am standing. I am writing on the whiteboard. This activity is happening right now. So when we are talking about an activity which is happening, when you are talking about it, we use the present continuous tense form of the verb. So, for example, if you were to describe the scene in your house at some point of time, I ask you, what are you doing? So you say, for example, if you were watching TV, you will say, I am watching TV. And I ask you, what's your mother doing? And supposing at that point of time she is cooking. So you will say, she is cooking food. Let us say I ask about your father and he's sleeping. So you will say, my father is sleeping. So all these actions are happening when you are talking about those actions. These activities are happening when you're talking about those activities. So that is the one situation when we use present continuous tense. Second thing is an action happening over a period of time. Earlier was when the action is happening when you're talking about it. Second situation is when you're talking about an action which is happening for some time. For example, it is raining for last 2 hours. That means the rain is falling and it has been raining for 2 hours. This action started about 2 hours earlier. ठीक है? I am working since morning. So you are working right now and you started working in the morning. So I am working since morning. Again, you also talk about events which are temporary in nature. That means they will happen only for some period of time. I work in Gurgaon, but this week I am working from home. I work in Gurgaon. That is a fact which is true for a longer period of time. So we use simple present tense because my office is in Gurgaon and I have been working there for, let's say, 2 years and I will continue working there for quite some time. So we use this simple present tense. It is a fact which is true for a fairly long time. But now, right now, this week I am working from home. So this is true for only 1 week. This action will happen only for 1 week. So I am using present continuous tense. But this week I am working from home. So I am working from home for 1 week only. So you understand? When something is fairly permanent, we use simple present tense. But something which is permanent only for a short time, or what we say, which is a temporary event, that will happen only for a short period. So we use present continuous tense. But this week I am working from home. Okay? So that is the second situation. Third situation is definite future events. We also use simple present tense for this thing. We use both simple present tense and present continuous tense to talk about events which will happen in the future at a definite time. We know the program is fixed. Normally for events in the future or actions in the future, we will have to use future tense. But we can also use simple present tense and present continuous tense. For example, we are going to Mumbai on Monday. So let us say our tickets are booked and we will be leaving on Monday. Monday is yet to come. This will happen in future. But we are using present continuous tense or going. Whenever you use ing with the verb, it becomes present continuous tense. So we are describing an event that will happen in future, that will happen on Monday. But we are using present continuous tense. Why we are using present continuous tense? Because the program is fixed. The date is decided. It's a definite activity that will happen on a particular time in future. School is closing on 10th. Is closing. So this is present continuous tense, but we are talking about an event that will happen in future. Let's say we are talking on 4th or 5th or 6th. So we are talking about an event that will happen in future. But we are using present continuous tense because we know the date is fixed. So these are the three situations when we use present continuous tense. First situation is when we are speaking of actions or activities happening when we are speaking about them. So anything happening when you're talking about it, you use present continuous tense. Activity happening now and not yet complete. Second is when we use present continuous tense when we talk about activities that happen for a period of time. For example, it is raining for last 2 days. I am reading for last 1 hour. And for the future events, when you know the program, when the activities are scheduled to happen at a fixed point of time, at a known point of time, when you know the activity will happen at this particular time in future, you can use present continuous tense. Okay? So these are the three situations where we normally use present continuous tense, and the structuring is, I'll just recapitulate the structuring. We use the subject and then helping verb is, am, are. Is will be used with he or she or it or with someone's name like Ram, etc. Am is used with I, are is used with plural. If the subject is plural, we use are. We are playing football. So we are plural and are is used here. Or I'll say I am playing football. So I am, we are. We could also say they are playing football. They is used for plural. More than one person. or he is playing football. So with third person we use is, third person singular. With I we use am, and with plural noun we use, plural noun or pronoun we use are. So that is the second thing. Is, am, are plus verb, and we add ing. Now there are rules for adding ing to a verb. That I will cover in a separate video. What are different rules for adding ing to any verb when you are making sentences in present continuous tense? And finally the subject. For example, football. I play football. So object. So this is the way you make sentences when you are making sentences in present continuous tense. In the next video, I will tell you about the rules for adding ing to the verb. Okay? So if you like my video, please share it with your friends, and do subscribe my channel. Thank you.